You have learned that I says I if one of the next two letters is another vowel. You have learned that I says I if one of the next two letters is not another vowel. You've learned that IGH says I. You've learned that to spell the I sound at the end of small words, you spell it with a Y, like my, by, try, shy. You've learned that I in the middle syllable says I. You've learned that TI says shh when it's almost to the end of a longer word and there's a vowel after it. Same with CI, like nation or physician. You've learned a lot. So let's get practicing, reviewing what we have learned. So we're going to do a combination of rules today. So our first word together is going to be terrific. Terrific. So we'll separate the sounds first. We have t, r, I, f, I, p. Consonants. T, r, I, f, I, p. Vowels. So I is the only letter that can spell the I sound. However, this I cannot say I here. This I, if nothing else changes, it must say I because there's a vowel one or two doors away. If you want a vowel to make it short sound, it must have two consonants after it, or a consonant and a space. And if there's not two consonants, you make two consonants. Now it can say I. And then for this I and single I will work just fine. You don't need two P's at the end because a consonant and a space works just fine. As long as there's not a vowel one or two doors away, then that can say I. Yeah? Let's try yours. Your word is flip him. Flip him. And my mouth is closed at the end. Go ahead. Flip him. Flip him. Go ahead and put it in the chat if you want, once you've got it. Okay, cool. All right. Nice. So we have our consonants. That's a good question, Anne-Marie. I'll answer it in just a second. I hope I don't forget. Let's do our consonants first for flip him. We have f, o, I, p, I, m. Now our vowels. We spell the I sound with an I. However, this I can't say I here because there's a vowel one or two doors away. Short I sound requires two consonants after it. If there's not two, make two. Now it can say I. And then that I at the end can be spelled with an I, no problem. Now, just for fun, what would that have said with only one P? Just to yourself. Now that word would have to be flip him, right? So if we want flip him, we must have two P's. Now it can be flip him. That's a good way to tell this word from this word. If you've ever wondered how to spell supper versus super, or any word that is similar like that, now you know. This one has a vowel one or two doors away, so it's got to say oo, and this one has two consonants after it, so it must say So this is super and this is supper. You're going to find that little hack really handy in reading and in spelling. Okay, now to answer Emery's question, how do you know how to use an F from a PH? Great question. So F and PH make the same sound. This is only used in Greek words, and we're going to have a whole lesson on it, I think. Because there's there's certain ways to know if, I mean, it's not easy, but there are some identifiable patterns that would help you make an educated assumption on whether a word is Greek or not and would require that PH. But most of the time, it's going to be spelled with an F, especially in our class. We're not going to introduce a PH until I've taught you when you would use it. Okay, number 2. Our word together is brynip. Brynip. So the sounds are b, r, I, n, I, p. Consonants. B, r, I, n, I, p. Vowels. Now, can this I say I here? Sure it can, because there's a vowel 1 or 2 doors down. When that happens, it says its name. This I can say I here, no problem, because there's not a vowel 1 or 2 doors down. Now, let me just ask you a quick question. Feel free to just put your answer in the chat if you want. If you were tempted to spell a word without leaving the vowels to last, do you find that that tends to lead to errors? Like if you were going to go brynip, if you just went straight through and went b, r, I, n, I, p. If you just went straight through and spelled it, do you find that it's okay that you can do it, or that you're not quite sure if there's 1 N or 2? Does it make it a little bit more confusing if you don't separate the sounds and spell the vowel sounds last? Let me see. Yeah, so everybody's saying yes, I make mistakes when I don't spell the vowels last. Okay, that's good to know. Me too. All right, so your word is Plytim. My mouth is closed at the end. Plytim. Go ahead. Plytim. All right. Nice. Okay. That must have been a autocorrect. Somebody's auto-corrected to something not even close. All right, so Plytim, we have our consonants. Yeah, that's what I thought. We have our consonants p, l, I, t, I, m. Okay, so can I say I here? Yes, it can. And can I say I here? Yes, it can. This has a vowel 1 or 2 doors down. It says I. This does not have a vowel 1 or 2 doors down, so it cannot say I. It has to say I. So far, so good? You on a roll here? All right, so this word, I don't want you to do, I mean, you can if you want. You can do what you want, of course, but I would encourage you not to do this one ahead of me, because I want to remind you of the rule. It's a little less common rule, and I don't want you to solidify old habits and old spellings of how you would have spelled the word before. Instead, I want to set you up for success. Make sure those nerve pathways are on the right road before you spell this word. Even if you're sure you know where I'm going, just be solid, 100% sure you know where I'm going before you spell this one. So the word is dite. Dite. So our sounds are d, I, t. Consonants. D, I, t. Now, for a 1 vowel word that ends with a T, you spell the I sound, I-G-H. Again, when you have a 1 vowel word with the long I sound followed by a final T, that long I sound is spelled I-G-H. All right, your turn. Spell the word vite. Vite. invite. Nice, Nathan. Excellent. Wonderful. So our consonants are v and t. And when you have a one vowel word with a long I sound followed by a final T, that long I sound is spelled I-G-H. Almost always. Not always, but almost always. Excellent. All right, next. This one I also want you to make sure that you know where I'm going before you attempt to spell it. Make sure that you spell it knowing how going in instead of just wondering. So the word is pritimate. The sounds are p, r, I, t, I, m, I, t. Consonants. P, r, I, t, I, m, I, t. Vowels. This I can say I here just fine because of the tap 2 rule. This I want to I. Do I need 2 M's? I do not. I do not. Very good, because it's in the middle syllable. When I is in the middle syllable, it can say I regardless of how many consonants are after it or not. Okay? So I in the middle gets to say I no matter what. And then we have that I at the end. So these 3 I's have 3 different rules. Yes, it's only I that has that rule. So if this was an A, it would say A. If it was an O, it would say O. Only I gets to break the tap 2 rule in the middle syllable. So these 3 I's are saying 2 different things, but for 3 different reasons. This I is saying I because there's a vowel 1 or 2 doors down. This I also has a vowel 1 or 2 doors down, but it breaks the tap 2 rule because I's in the middle syllable always get to say I. And then this I says I because there's not a vowel 1 or 2 doors down, okay? Your word. Your word is blimipit. Blimipit. Go ahead. Blimipit. Blimipit. My mouth is closed in the middle for that M. Nice. You're getting so good at this. You are really improving. Well done. Blimipit. Okay. Our consonants are B, L, I, M, I, P, I, T. For the I sound, we can use an I just fine. For the I sound, we can use an I without 2 P's because it's in the middle. And for this I sound, we can use an I just fine. There is blimipit. Now, let me just look. Okay, you guys are getting this. When will we use rules we learn in other months? So, at the last quarter of the year, in October, November, and December, we use all of the rules in real words. So we don't use nonsense words. Well, we do a little bit, but we introduce real words, and they are long. They're not just your average truck or apple. They are multi-syllable words, long, hard words that you are going to know how to spell by the time you get to October. Yeah. Yeah. So other than that, we have every month wrapped up in its own little vowel so that there's never too much of review for new people. New people come in all the time. If you want to review those, you can go watch the recording, or you can stay in for the whole year loop. Everything is on a loop, so that if you didn't come in on a month, just stay in for a year and you'll get A at the end. But yeah, the last 3 months of the year, we do all of the rules in all of the words, and they are real words, not nonsense words. The reason we do nonsense words is a couple reasons, but mostly it's because you already know how to spell a lot of words, and that prior knowledge will influence what, just subconsciously, it will influence what you're spelling. If it's real words, you'll either go on prior knowledge and memory of a incorrect spelling or you will apply some habit or pattern that maybe doesn't apply in this word. If you do nonsense words, then all of that is gone. No previous memory of any word is able to help you spell the word. You must rely on the rules. That, because I'm teaching you how to spell, not how to spell words. I'm teaching you how to spell so you can spell any word. So that's why we use nonsense words at the beginning. Okay, your next word is, this one's hard. Let's do this one together. Shrisp. Shrisp. It doesn't sound hard, but you might be a little surprised. Let's try it. Shrisp. Consonants. SH is a consonant sound. That's why we have lines representing sounds, not letters. Each line is a sound. We spell sounds. We read sounds. We don't spell letters and read letters. Everything spells a sound. So that first line gets 2 letters on it. Very good. And then we have a here, and then sp. Now I want the I sound in the middle. So an I is going to be the only letter that spells that sound. Shrisp. Shrisp. Maybe it wasn't as hard for you as I thought. That one was a little tricky in yesterday's class. Try this one. Try the word thrimp. 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 Nice. Erica, let me know in the chat. Did you get shrisp? Nice. Good. Okay, this word is thrimp. Thrimp. So we have that consonant digraph sound at the beginning. Then our then the last 2 consonants are and p. So here we have a digraph blend and a 2-letter consonant blend. There's a digraph blended with an R and then 2 consonants blended together. And then for our I, we're spelling it with an I. I is the only letter that spells I. So there is thrimp. Kind of like shrimp, but if you had a lisp, it would sound like thrimp. It rhymes with shrimp. Okay, let's try. We have time for at least one more, maybe 2. Let's do think about this one. Clip and dip. I'm going to let you do this one without me. Clip and dip. Go ahead. Clip and dip. And my mouth is open in the middle for that N. Clip in, dip. Oh, very good, Anne-Marie. Clip and dip. All right. So for our, oh, I should have told you this. This was my bad, not yours. For the k sound, we always spell k with a C. Yeah. I mean, K could also make that sound, but we only use that in certain situations that I'll teach you. We're going to have a whole class on that. For now, every time you hear k, spell it with a C. So our consonants are k, l, I, p, I, n, d, I, p. If you put a K here, I'm still going to count that as correct because you got the sound right. So vowel sounds, I. Can this say I here? It cannot, because there's a vowel right there. So if it needs two consonants, if there's not two, make two. For our I in the middle, it already says I just fine because there are two consonants after it, but even if there weren't, it could still say I here because it's in the middle syllable. And then our I at the end is spelled with just a regular old I. Clip and dip. Well done. Last one. Oh, my goodness, look at that. We're out of time. Clip and dip took longer than I thought. So you have been reminded of all of the rules that you have been learning about I so far. Next month, we're going to start talking about O. Next week starts O month. And next week, we're also going to be combined with our Monday, Wednesday class. And then in Tuesday and Thursday, you are invited to attend an additional, in this same time slot, I think, or it might be a half hour off, practicum class where mics are on, cameras are on, and it's just you and I. It's also combined with the other class, so there's going to be more people in there. Reading and spelling live, just me helping you one-on-one. I'm super excited about that class. Any questions about that transition moving forward next week? You really don't have to do anything different except you might have already seen it. It's already in your modules. You already have access to the Monday and Wednesday class. Yeah, feel free to jump in there and look at it if you want. Otherwise, I'll see you there on Wednesday. So Tuesday, yeah. So I won't see you until, well, I see you on Monday. Yeah, you're welcome to join in on Monday. Yeah. Thanks. You got that before I did. All right, my friends, I will see you next week. Bye, everybody.